You know what caveman never had? The little glowing box that steals your soul piece by piece every single day. And here is the truth nobody wants to hear, but everybody needs to understand right now. Social media is not just wasting your time. It is rewiring your brain, destroying your focus, killing your dreams, and turning you into a weak version of yourself. And the most terrifying part is that you think you are in control, when really you are the puppet, and the algorithm is pulling every single string. 10,000 years ago, caveman knew something about human nature that we forgot. Something so simple, yet so powerful, that if you understand it today, right now, in this moment, you will never look at your phone the same way again. And I am going to show you exactly what that ancient wisdom is, and how it can save you from the digital trap that has captured billions of people who scroll their lives away while their potential dies in silence. You ever notice how you pick up your phone to check one thing, just one quick thing, and then suddenly 30 minutes vanished into thin air, and you cannot even remember what you looked at? That is not accident, my friend. That is design. That is warfare. That is the most sophisticated psychological manipulation ever created. And your ancestors, the ones who survived in caves and hunted with stone tools, they understood the exact vulnerability that social media exploits. They knew it in their bones. They felt it in their gut. And they built their entire survival around protecting themselves from this one fatal weakness that modern humans have completely forgotten. The caveman brain you carry inside your skull right now, this very second. It has not changed, not really. Not in the ways that matter, because 10,000 years is nothing in evolutionary time. It is a blink. It is a whisper. And that means your brain is still wired for survival in a world that no longer exists, and social media companies know this. They studied this. They hired neuroscientists and psychologists and addiction specialists to figure out exactly how to hijack the ancient mechanisms in your brain that kept your ancestors alive. And now those same mechanisms are being used to keep you scrolling, keep you clicking, keep you trapped in an endless loop of dopamine hits that feel good for 3 seconds and leave you empty for 3 hours. Let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself, because nobody else is listening. When was the last time you went an entire day without checking social media? When was the last time you sat in silence without reaching for your phone? When was the last time you were bored? Truly bored, and you just let yourself be bored instead of filling that space with digital noise? If you are struggling to answer these questions, if you are feeling uncomfortable right now, just thinking about it, that is your first clue that something is very wrong, that you are not as free as you think you are, that you have given away more control than you ever intended. And the scary part is that most people never even realize it is happening until they have wasted years, actual years of their life, staring at a screen while their real life, their one precious life, passes them by like a river they are too distracted to notice. Caveman did not have this problem, not because he was smarter or stronger or more disciplined, but because he understood something fundamental about attention, about energy, about where you put your focus. And he knew that survival depended on being present, on being aware, on being connected to reality instead of lost in fantasy. And social media is the ultimate fantasy. It is a world where everyone is winning except you, where everyone is happy except you, where everyone has figured it out except you. And that comparison, that constant comparison, it is poison. It is slow death. It is the thing that kills more dreams than failure ever could. Your caveman ancestors lived in small tribes, maybe 50 people, maybe 100, and that was their entire social world. Those were all the relationships they had to manage, all the opinions they had to consider, all the drama they had to navigate, and their brains evolved to handle exactly that amount of social complexity, no more, no less. But now, right now, you are trying to manage relationships with thousands of people. You are exposed to thousands of opinions. You are drowning in thousands of pieces of information, and your brain was never designed for this. It cannot handle this. It is like trying to run modern software on ancient hardware, and the system crashes, it overheats, it breaks down, and you feel it. You feel it as anxiety, as overwhelm, as this constant low-level stress that you cannot quite name, but that follows you everywhere, even into your sleep, even into your dreams, because your nervous system is stuck in permanent overdrive, trying to process a world that is too big, too fast, too much. The caveman knew his limits. He respected his limits. He worked within his limits. And that is why he survived. That is why you are here today, because your ancestors were wise enough to protect their attention, to guard their energy, to focus on what mattered instead of getting distracted by every shiny thing that crossed their path. And social media is the shiniest thing ever created. It is designed to be irresistible. It is engineered to capture your attention and never let go. And if you do not understand this, if you do not see the trap, you will spend your entire life caught in it, while other people, the ones who figured this out, they will be out there building empires, creating art, living adventures, experiencing real connection, real joy, real meaning, while you are stuck in the digital prison, wondering why you feel so empty inside. Here is what nobody tells you about social media. It is not neutral. It is not just a tool. It is not something you can use without being changed by it. Because every time you open that app, every time you scroll that feed, every time you check those notifications, you are training your brain. You are building neural pathways. You are creating habits. And those habits become your character. And your character becomes your destiny. And right now, in this moment, millions of people are training themselves to be distracted, to be impatient, to be shallow, to be reactive, to be addicted to validation from strangers. And they do not even know they are doing it. They think they are just having fun, just staying connected, just keeping up with friends. But really, they are rewiring their brains to crave the very thing that is destroying them. Caveman understood cause and effect. He understood that actions have consequences. He understood that if you eat the poisonous berry, you die. And there is no negotiating with nature. There is no second chances. There is only reality, cold and hard and unforgiving. And social media is the poisonous berry of the modern world. It looks delicious, it promises pleasure, it seems harmless, but it is killing you slowly, so slowly that you do not notice until years have passed and you look back and realize you cannot remember what you did with all that time. You cannot point to anything you built, anything you created, anything meaningful that came from all those hours of scrolling, and that realization, when it finally hits, it is devastating. It is the moment you understand that you traded your life for nothing, for digital smoke, for pixels on a screen, for the illusion of connection, while real connection died from neglect. And if you think this is just about wasting time, if you think the only problem is lost hours, then you are missing the deeper danger, the thing that happens beneath the surface, the way social media is changing who you are at the most fundamental level. And I am going to show you exactly how this works, exactly what is happening in your brain, exactly why caveman wisdom is the only thing that can save you. And by the end of this, you will have a complete system, a complete understanding, a complete path to freedom that most people will never find because they are too busy scrolling to look up and see the prison walls around them. So stay with me, because what comes next will change everything you think you know about yourself and your relationship with technology. The human brain is the most complex object in the known universe. 3 pounds of wrinkled tissue containing 86 billion neurons, each one connected to thousands of others, creating a network so vast and intricate that we still barely understand how it works. But here is what we do know. Your brain is plastic. It is moldable. It changes based on what you do, based on what you practice, based on where you put your attention. And this is beautiful when you are learning a skill, when you are building something meaningful, when you are growing and evolving. But it is terrifying when you realize that every minute you spend on social media is literally reshaping your brain, creating new pathways, strengthening certain connections while letting others wither and die. And the pathways that social media strengthens are the ones that make you weak, that make you distracted, that make you dependent, that make you unable to sit with yourself, unable to focus deeply, unable to do the hard things that create real success and real happiness in life. Caveman did not have neuroscience. He did not have brain scans or research papers, but he had observation, he had experience. He had thousands of generations of accumulated wisdom about what works and what does not work. And one thing he knew for certain is that you become what you practice. That if you practice hunting, you become a hunter. If you practice gathering, you become a gatherer. If you practice sitting around the fire, telling stories, you become a storyteller. And if you practice scrolling through an endless feed of other people's highlight reels, while your own life sits in the corner collecting dust, then you become a spectator. You become a consumer. You become someone who watches life instead of living it. And that is the saddest transformation of all, to have this one precious existence, this one chance to be alive and to spend it watching other people pretend to live while you fade into the background of your own story. The dopamine system in your brain is ancient. It is one of the oldest parts of your neural architecture, and it exists for one reason: to make you seek rewards, to make you pursue things that help you survive and reproduce. Things like food, things like sex, things like social status, things like novelty. And when you find these things, your brain releases dopamine, and dopamine feels good. It feels really good. It is the chemical of wanting, the chemical of motivation, the chemical that says, yes, more of that, keep going. That is good for survival. And this system worked perfectly for millions of years. It kept your ancestors alive. It made them hunt when they were hungry. It made them seek mates when they were lonely. It made them explore new territories when resources ran low. But now, right now, in the modern world, this ancient system is being exploited, it is being hacked, it is being weaponized against you by people who understand exactly how it works and exactly how to trigger it over and over and over again without ever actually satisfying you, without ever actually giving you what you really need. Social media is a dopamine slot machine. Every time you pull that lever, every time you refresh that feed, every time you check those notifications, you might get a reward. You might get a like. You might get a comment. You might see something interesting. And that might is the key, because unpredictable rewards are more addictive than predictable ones. This is basic psychology. This is how you train a rat to press a lever until it dies of exhaustion. You give it random rewards, you make it uncertain, you make it hope, and hope is the most powerful drug in the world. Hope keeps you coming back. Hope keeps you checking. Hope keeps you trapped in a cycle that never ends because the satisfaction never comes. The real satisfaction, the deep satisfaction, the kind that makes you feel full and complete and at peace, that only comes from real achievement, real connection, real presence, and social media gives you none of that. It gives you the shadow, the echo, the cheap imitation, and your brain knows the difference, even if you do not want to admit it. Caveman lived in a world of real consequences. If he did not pay attention while hunting, he got hurt. If he did not contribute to the tribe, he got excluded. If he did not develop real skills, he did not survive. And this created a natural feedback loop, a natural system of accountability, a natural pressure to become competent, to become valuable, to become someone who could handle reality. But social media has no real consequences. You can fail there 1,000 times and nothing happens. You can waste years there and nobody stops you. You can become completely incompetent at real life and still feel like you are doing something because you have followers, because you have likes, because you have this digital validation that means nothing, that translates to nothing, that disappears the moment you close the app. And this is the great deception. This is the great lie, that you can build a life on digital sand, that you can substitute real achievement with virtual achievement, that you can replace real relationships with digital relationships. And millions of people are finding out the hard way that this does not work. That when you are 40 or 50 or 60 and you look back at your life, the likes do not matter. The followers do not matter. The viral posts do not matter. What matters is who you became, what you built, who you loved, what you experienced. And if you spent all your time on social media, the answer to all those questions is nothing. Nobody, nowhere. And that is a tragedy. That is a waste. That is the thing you will regret more than any failure, more than any rejection, more than any mistake. Because at least those things are real. At least those things teach you something. At least those things are part of living. But scrolling teaches you nothing except how to scroll more. And that is not a life. That is not a story worth telling. That is not something you will be proud of when you are old and your time is running out and you finally understand that attention was your most valuable resource and you gave it away for free to people who got rich while you got poor in every way that matters. The comparison trap is one of the oldest human weaknesses. Caveman felt it too. He looked at the bigger hunter, the better tool maker, the more respected elder, and he felt that sting, that sense of inadequacy, that desire to measure up. But here is the difference. Caveman was comparing himself to maybe 10 or 20 people, people he actually knew, people whose full story he understood, people whose struggles he witnessed, people whose failures he saw. And this kept comparison in perspective. It kept it manageable. It kept it from destroying him. But you, right now, you are comparing yourself to thousands of people. People you do not know. People who only show you their best moments. People who are lying. People who are filtering. People who are performing. People who are just as lost as you are, but who have learned to hide it better. And this comparison is killing you. It is making you feel like you are behind, like you are failing, like everyone else has figured out the secret except you. And this feeling, this constant feeling of inadequacy, it paralyzes you. It stops you from trying. It stops you from starting. It stops you from being yourself. Because you are too busy trying to be like them, trying to keep up with an illusion, trying to win a game that nobody actually wins, because the game is rigged. The game is designed to make you feel inadequate, so you keep playing, keep scrolling, keep searching for that one post, that one image, that one piece of content that will finally make you feel okay. But it never comes, it never will come, because the problem is not out there. The problem is in here. The problem is that you are looking for external validation, when what you really need is internal validation. You are looking for other people to tell you that you are enough, when the only person who can tell you that is you. And until you understand this, until you stop playing the comparison game, you will never be free, you will never be happy, you will never be at peace, because there will always be someone with more followers, more likes, more success, more beauty, more money, more everything. And if your worth is tied to comparison, you will always lose. Always. No exceptions, no escape. So, let me ask you something right now, and really think about this. Who are you when nobody is watching? Who are you when there is no audience, no likes, no validation, no performance? Can you even answer that question anymore? Or have you become so tangled up in your digital persona that you have lost touch with your real self, with the person you were before all of this, with the person you could still become if you had the courage to step away from the screen and step into your actual life? Because that is what this is really about. That is the real battle, not between you and social media, but between you and yourself, between the person you are becoming because of your habits and the person you could be if you change those habits. And I am going to show you exactly how to do that, exactly how to reclaim your attention, your focus, your life, using the same principles that kept caveman strong and free and fully alive. So do not go anywhere, because the next part is where everything clicks, where the ancient wisdom meets modern reality, where you finally understand not just what is wrong, but exactly how to fix it. Your attention is your life. This is not metaphor. This is not exaggeration. This is literal truth, because your life is nothing more than the sum of what you pay attention to. Where you put your focus determines what you experience, what you learn, what you become. And if you are putting your attention on social media for 3 hours a day, that is 3 hours of life you are giving away. That is 3 hours you could be using to build something, to learn something, to create something, to connect with someone real, to move your body, to train your mind, to pursue your dreams. But instead you are giving those hours to Mark Zuckerberg, to Elon Musk, to the algorithm, to the advertisers, to everyone except yourself. And they are getting rich while you are getting poor. They are building empires while you are building nothing. They are living their dreams while yours die in silence. And the worst part is that you are doing this voluntarily. Nobody is forcing you. Nobody is holding a gun to your head. You are choosing this. Every single day you are choosing this. And that means you can also choose differently. You can also take back control. You can also reclaim your attention and redirect it toward things that actually matter. Things that actually build the life you want, instead of the life you are settling for. Caveman understood that energy is finite, that you only have so much strength in a day, so much focus, so much willpower. And he was very careful about where he spent it. He did not waste energy on things that did not matter. He did not get distracted by shiny objects. He did not scatter his focus across 100 different directions. He chose one thing, maybe two things, and he put everything into those things. And that is why he succeeded. That is why he survived. That is why his genes are inside you right now. because he understood focus, he understood priority, he understood that you cannot do everything, so you better choose carefully what you do. And social media is the opposite of this wisdom. Social media is scattered attention. Social media is 1,000 different directions. Social media is trying to keep up with everything and everyone, and ending up with nothing. And if you want to succeed in anything, if you want to build anything meaningful, if you want to become anyone significant, you have to reject this. You have to go against the grain. You have to protect your attention like your life depends on it, because it does. It literally does. The caveman had enemies, real enemies, predators that wanted to eat him, rival tribes that wanted to kill him, nature itself that wanted to crush him. And he survived because he could focus. Because when danger appeared, everything else disappeared. His entire being concentrated on the threat, on the solution, on survival, and this ability to focus intensely, to block out everything else, to enter a state of complete presence. This is what made humans the dominant species on the planet. This is our superpower. This is the thing that allowed us to create tools, to build civilizations, to go to the moon. But social media is destroying this superpower. It is training you to be distracted, to have the attention span of a goldfish, to need constant stimulation, to be unable to sit with one thing for more than 30 seconds before you need to check your phone. And this is catastrophic. This is the death of excellence. This is the death of mastery. This is the death of anything great. Because greatness requires deep focus. It requires hours of uninterrupted concentration. It requires the ability to push through boredom and frustration and difficulty without giving up, without getting distracted, without running away to the easy dopamine hit of social media. And if you cannot do this, if you have lost this ability, then you have lost the thing that makes you human. You have lost the thing that gives you power. You have lost the thing that separates you from animals who just react to stimuli without ever creating anything, without ever becoming anything, without ever transcending their circumstances. There is a reason why the most successful people in the world, the ones who actually build things, the ones who actually change things, the ones who actually matter, they are not on social media. Or if they are, they use it very carefully, very strategically, very minimally, because they understand what you are just beginning to understand, that social media is a trap, that it is designed to consume your attention, that it is incompatible with deep work, with real achievement, with the kind of focused effort that creates extraordinary results. And they have made a choice. They have decided that their attention is too valuable to give away, that their time is too precious to waste, that their life is too important to spend watching other people live theirs. And this is the choice you have to make too. This is the line in the sand. This is the moment where you decide who you are going to be. Are you going to be someone who scrolls? Or are you going to be someone who builds? Are you going to be someone who watches? Or are you going to be someone who does? Are you going to be someone who wastes their potential? Or are you going to be someone who fulfills it? Because you cannot do both. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot give your attention to social media and also give it to your dreams. You have to choose. And the choice you make right now, today, this moment, this will determine everything. This will determine your future. This will determine whether you look back on your life with pride or with regret. And I am telling you right now, as someone who has seen both paths, as someone who understands what is at stake, choose the hard path. Choose the path of focus. Choose the path of presence. Choose the path of real life over digital life, because that is the only path that leads anywhere worth going. Caveman did not have the luxury of distraction. When he was making a tool, he had to focus completely, or the tool would break and he would have no way to hunt. When he was tracking an animal, he had to pay attention to every detail, or he would lose the trail and his family would go hungry. When he was navigating through dangerous territory, he had to be present or he would get lost and die. And this constant pressure, this constant need for focus and attention and presence, this is what shaped the human brain. This is what made us capable of incredible things. But now, we live in a world where there are no immediate consequences for distraction, where you can scroll for hours and nothing bad happens, where you can waste your entire day and you still get to eat, you still get to sleep in a warm bed, you still get to survive. And this lack of consequences is dangerous. It is allowing people to develop habits that would have killed them 10,000 years ago. Habits of distraction, habits of laziness, habits of weakness. And just because these habits do not kill you immediately does not mean they are not killing you slowly, does not mean they are not destroying your potential, does not mean they are not stealing your life one scroll at a time. And by the time you realize what you have lost, it might be too late. You might have wasted so many years that you cannot get them back. You might have let so many opportunities pass that they are gone forever. You might have become so weak, so distracted, so addicted that you cannot break free anymore. And that is the real tragedy. Not that social media exists, but that you let it win. That you let it take everything from you without even putting up a fight. The tribal nature of humans is another thing Caveman understood deeply. He knew that belonging mattered, that being part of the group was essential for survival, that isolation meant death, and this need for belonging is still inside you. It is one of the deepest drives you have, and social media exploits this drive ruthlessly. It promises you connection, it promises you community, it promises you belonging. But what it actually gives you is the illusion of these things. It gives you shallow interactions that feel like connection, but leave you feeling more alone. It gives you digital communities that feel like tribes but offer no real support when you actually need it. It gives you the appearance of belonging while you are actually more isolated than ever, sitting alone in your room, staring at a screen pretending to be social, while real social skills atrophy, while real relationships wither, while real community dies because nobody has time for it anymore. Everyone is too busy maintaining their digital presence to show up in real life. And this is creating an epidemic of loneliness, an epidemic of depression, an epidemic of anxiety, because humans are not designed to live like this. We are not designed to have 1,000 shallow connections. We are designed to have a handful of deep connections. We are designed to know people fully, to be known fully, to be seen, to be understood, to matter to someone in a real way. And social media cannot give you this. It can only give you the shadow of it. And if you mistake the shadow for the real thing, you will spend your whole life hungry. You will spend your whole life lonely. You will spend your whole life wondering why nothing feels quite right, why you have all these followers but no real friends, why you have all these likes but no real love, why you have all this digital connection but you feel more disconnected than ever. And here is what most people never figure out until it is too late. The solution is not to use social media better. It is not to find the right balance. It is not to moderate your usage, because social media is not designed to be used in moderation. It is designed to be addictive. It is designed to consume all your attention. It is designed to make moderation impossible. And the only way to win is not to play, or to play so little, so strategically, so intentionally that you are using it instead of it using you. And I am about to give you the complete system for doing exactly that. The ancient wisdom translated into modern practice, the caveman principles, applied to digital life, the exact steps you need to take to break free and reclaim your attention and build the life you actually want, instead of the life the algorithm wants for you. So stay with me, because this next part is where theory becomes practice, where understanding becomes action, where you stop being a victim and start being a warrior. The first principle of caveman wisdom is this: know your enemy, and your enemy is not social media itself. Your enemy is your own weakness, your own need for validation, your own inability to sit with discomfort, your own addiction to distraction. And until you face this, until you admit this, until you take responsibility for this, you will never be free. You will always be blaming the platform, blaming the algorithm, blaming everyone except the person who is actually in control, which is you. You are the one who picks up the phone. You are the one who opens the app. You are the one who scrolls. And yes, it is designed to be hard to resist. Yes, it is engineered to be addictive. Yes, there are billions of dollars and thousands of the smartest people in the world working to keep you hooked. But you are still the one making the choice. And once you accept this, once you stop being a victim, once you take full ownership of your attention and your time and your life, then you have power. Then you can change. Then you can fight back. But not before. Not until you stop making excuses. Not until you stop pretending that you are helpless, because you are not helpless. You are powerful. You are capable. You are strong enough to do this. But first, you have to believe it. You have to decide it. You have to commit to it with everything you have. Caveman survived because he was honest about reality. He did not lie to himself. He did not pretend things were different than they were. He did not make excuses. He looked at the world clearly. He assessed the danger accurately. He made decisions based on truth, not fantasy. And this is what you have to do with social media. You have to be brutally honest with yourself about what it is doing to you. You have to track your usage and actually see how many hours you are wasting. You have to notice how you feel after scrolling for an hour. You have to pay attention to how it affects your mood, your energy, your motivation, your relationships, your productivity, your dreams. And when you do this, when you really look at it, honestly, you will see that it is not neutral, it is not harmless, it is not just entertainment. It is actively making your life worse. It is actively making you weaker. It is actively stealing your potential. And once you see this clearly, once you cannot unsee it, then you will have the motivation to change. Then you will have the fire. Then you will have the determination to do whatever it takes to break free. Because you will understand what is at stake. You will understand that this is not about missing out on memes. This is about your entire life. This is about who you become. This is about whether you fulfill your potential or waste it. And that is worth fighting for. That is worth sacrificing for. That is worth doing the hard thing for. The second principle is this: control your environment. Caveman did not try to resist temptation through willpower alone. He structured his environment to make good choices easy and bad choices hard if he did not want to. Eat something. He did not keep it in the cave. If he wanted to practice a skill, he kept the tools nearby. If he wanted to avoid danger, he stayed away from dangerous places. And you have to do the same thing with social media. You have to make it hard to access. You have to create friction. You have to remove the apps from your phone. You have to log out every time. You have to put your phone in another room. You have to use website blockers. You have to do whatever it takes to make scrolling require effort, because right now it requires no effort. It is the path of least resistance. It is the easiest thing to do. And humans always do the easiest thing unless they have a very strong reason not to. So you have to change the equation. You have to make the hard thing easy and the easy thing hard. You have to redesign your environment so that focus is the default and distraction requires effort. And when you do this, when you structure your life this way, you do not have to rely on willpower. You do not have to fight yourself every moment. You just have to set up the system once and then let the system do the work. And this is how you win. This is how you create lasting change. This is how you become the person who does not need social media, because you have something better, something real, something meaningful to focus on. The third principle is this: replace the void. Caveman did not just stop doing something, he replaced it with something else. If he stopped hunting in one area, he started hunting in another area. If he stopped using one tool, he started using a better tool. And you cannot just delete social media and expect to be fine. You cannot just create a void in your life and hope it stays empty, because it will not. You will fill it with something, and if you do not choose what fills it, your old habits will come back. Your old patterns will return. Your old addictions will resurface. So you have to be intentional. You have to decide in advance what you will do with all that time, all that attention, all that energy that you are reclaiming. Maybe you will read, maybe you will create, maybe you will build, maybe you will train, maybe you will connect with real people in real life. Maybe you will pursue the dream you have been putting off. Maybe you will finally start the thing you have been afraid to start. And this is where the magic happens. This is where your life actually changes. Not in the absence of social media, but in the presence of something better. Something that fills you up instead of draining you. Something that builds you up instead of tearing you down. Something that moves you toward your goals instead of away from them. The fourth principle is this: embrace discomfort. Caveman was comfortable being uncomfortable. He did not expect life to be easy. He did not expect to feel good all the time. He did not run from boredom or pain or difficulty. He accepted these things as part of life, as part of growth, as part of becoming strong. And you have to do the same. You have to learn to sit with boredom without reaching for your phone. You have to learn to sit with anxiety without scrolling it away. You have to learn to sit with loneliness without filling it with digital noise. Because these uncomfortable feelings, they are not the enemy. They are not something to avoid. They are signals. They are teachers. They are showing you what you need to work on, what you need to face, what you need to heal. And if you keep numbing them with social media, if you keep distracting yourself from them, they will never go away. They will just get stronger. They will just get louder. They will just keep controlling you from beneath the surface. But if you face them, if you sit with them, if you let them be there without trying to fix them or escape them, they will eventually pass. They will eventually teach you what you need to learn. They will eventually make you stronger. And this is the path of the warrior. This is the path of the person who does not run from difficulty, but runs toward it. Who does not avoid discomfort, but embraces it. Who does not seek the easy path, but seeks the path that makes them better. And this is the path that leads to real strength, real confidence, real freedom. The fifth principle is this: measure what matters. Caveman measured success by survival, by the health of his tribe, by his ability to provide, by his skills, by his strength, by real tangible things that actually mattered. And you have to do the same. You have to stop measuring your worth by likes and followers and views. You have to stop measuring your success by digital metrics that mean nothing. You have to start measuring by real things. by what you built, by what you learned, by how you grew, by who you helped, by the relationships you deepened, by the skills you developed, by the person you became. And when you change what you measure, you change what you value. And when you change what you value, you change what you do. And when you change what you do, you change your life. And this is the key. This is the secret. This is the thing that separates people who break free from people who stay trapped. They measure different things. They value different things. They pursue different things. And the life they build is completely different as a result. The sixth principle is this: find your tribe, but find your real tribe, not your digital tribe. Caveman survived because he had people around him who actually cared, who actually showed up, who actually helped when things got hard. And you need the same thing. You need real people in your real life who know you, who see you, who support you, who challenge you, who hold you accountable, who celebrate your wins and help you through your losses. And you will not find these people on social media. You will find them in real life, in real spaces, doing real things. And yes, this is harder. Yes, this requires effort. Yes, this means you have to be vulnerable. You have to show up. You have to risk rejection. But this is the only way to build real connection. This is the only way to satisfy that deep human need for belonging. And once you have this, once you have real community, you will not need the fake community of social media anymore. You will not need the validation of strangers anymore. You will not need to perform for an audience anymore, because you will have something real, something solid, something that actually feeds your soul instead of draining it. Now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. Imagine that you actually did this. Imagine that you took back control of your attention. Imagine that you broke free from social media. Imagine that you spent the last year building something real, learning something valuable, becoming someone stronger. Imagine how different your life would be. Imagine how much more focused you would be, how much more present, how much more alive. Imagine the things you could create, the skills you could develop, the relationships you could deepen, the dreams you could pursue. And now imagine the opposite. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. If nothing changes, if you keep scrolling, if you keep wasting your time, if you keep giving your attention away, imagine how you will feel. Imagine the regret. Imagine the frustration. Imagine looking back and realizing you wasted another year of your one precious life. And which version do you want to be? Which future do you want to create? Because the choice is yours. The power is yours. The time is now. And everything I am about to share with you in this final section is the practical roadmap, the exact steps, the complete system for becoming the first version instead of the second version. So pay attention, because this is where everything comes together. This is where ancient wisdom meets modern action. This is where you stop being a slave to the algorithm and start being the master of your own life. The practical system for breaking free starts with awareness. You cannot change what you do not measure. You cannot fix what you do not see. So the first step is to track your usage. Use an app. Use a timer. Use whatever tool you need to actually see how much time you are spending on social media. And do not lie to yourself. Do not estimate. Do not guess. Actually track it for a week. And when you see the number, when you see that you are spending 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours a day on social media, when you multiply that by 7 and realize you are spending 14 or 21 or 28 hours a week, when you multiply that by 52 and realize you are spending hundreds of hours a year, when you think about what you could do with that time, what you could build, what you could become. That is when the motivation comes. That is when the fire ignites. That is when you finally have the emotional fuel to make a change. Because seeing the truth, seeing the actual cost, that is what breaks through the denial. That is what breaks through the excuses. That is what makes you finally take action. The second step is to define your why. Why do you want to break free? What do you want to do with your time instead? What do you want to build? What to do? You want to become, and this has to be specific, it has to be compelling. It has to be something that excites you more than social media does. Because if your why is weak, if your why is vague, if your why is just, I should probably use social media less, you will fail. You will give up. You will go back to your old habits. But if your why is strong, if your why is clear, if your why is, I want to build a business, or I want to write a book, or I want to get in the best shape of my life, or I want to be fully present with my family, or I want to master a skill, then you have something to pull you forward. You have something to fight for. You have something worth sacrificing for, and that makes all the difference. That is what separates people who talk about change from people who actually change. The third step is to remove the temptation. Delete the apps from your phone, all of them, every single one. And yes, this feels extreme. Yes, this feels scary. Yes, you will immediately think of all the reasons why you need them, but you do not need them. You really do not. You can access social media from your computer if you absolutely have to. You can check it once a day or once a week in a controlled way, but having it on your phone, having it in your pocket, having it available every moment of every day, that is the problem. That is the trap. That is what makes it impossible to resist. So remove it, create friction, make it hard, and yes, you will feel uncomfortable for a few days. Yes, you will reach for your phone out of habit and feel that moment of panic when the app is not there. But that discomfort is good. That discomfort is growth. That discomfort is you breaking an addiction, and it will pass. It will get easier. And after a week or two, you will not even miss it. You will wonder why you ever thought you needed it in the first place. The fourth step is to fill the void intentionally. Make a list right now of things you want to do with your reclaimed time. Things that actually matter. Things that actually build the life you want. And when you feel the urge to check social media, when you feel that pull, when you feel that boredom or anxiety or restlessness, look at your list and choose something from it. Read a page of a book. Do 10 push-ups. Write a paragraph. Send a message to a real friend. Work on your project for 10 minutes. Meditate for 5 minutes. Go for a walk. Do anything, literally. Anything that moves you toward your goals instead of away from them. And at first, this will feel hard. At first, you will not want to do it. At first, your brain will scream for the easy dopamine of social media. But push through, do it anyway. Do the hard thing. And after you do it, notice how you feel. Notice that you feel better. Notice that you feel proud. Notice that you feel like you actually did something instead of wasting time. And that feeling, that is your reward. That is your new dopamine. That is what you are training your brain to crave. And the more you do this, the easier it gets. The more natural it becomes. The more you become the person who does hard things instead of easy things, who builds instead of consumes, who lives instead of watches. The fifth step is to create accountability. Tell someone what you are doing. Tell them your goal. Tell them your why. Ask them to check in with you. Ask them to hold you accountable. Ask them to call you out if they see you scrolling. And this is powerful. This is one of the most effective tools for behavior change, because humans are social creatures. We care what other people think. We do not want to disappoint people we respect. We do not want to break our word. And when you make your commitment public, when you involve other people, you are much more likely to follow through. You are much more likely to succeed. You are much more likely to become the person you said you would become. And if you do not have someone in your life who can do this for you, find a community, find a group, find other people who are on the same journey, who are fighting the same battle, who understand what you are going through, and support each other, encourage each other, hold each other accountable. Because this is not a journey you have to take alone. This is not a battle you have to fight by yourself. There are millions of people who are waking up to the same truth, who are seeing the same trap, who are choosing the same path. And together you are stronger. Together you are more likely to succeed. Together you can build the life that social media tried to steal from you. The sixth step is to embrace the process. Understand that this is not a one-time decision. This is not something you do once and you are done. This is a daily practice. This is a daily choice. This is a daily battle. And some days will be easy, and some days will be hard. Some days you will feel strong, and some days you will feel weak. Some days you will win, and some days you will slip. And that is okay. That is normal. That is part of being human. What matters is that you keep going. What matters is that you do not give up. What matters is that when you fall, you get back up. When you slip, you start again. When you fail, you learn, and you keep moving forward. You keep choosing the hard path. You keep choosing focus over distraction. You keep choosing real life over digital life. And over time, over weeks and months and years, this becomes who you are. This becomes your identity. This becomes your character. You become the person who does not need social media, who does not crave validation, who does not waste time, who is focused, who is present, who is building something real, who is living fully, who is becoming everything they are capable of becoming. And that is the goal. That is the prize. That is what you are fighting for. Not just freedom from social media, but freedom to become yourself, your best self, your truest self, the self that has been buried under all the scrolling and all the distraction and all the noise, the self that is still there, waiting, ready, capable of extraordinary things if you will just give it the attention it deserves. Caveman did not have the distractions you have, but he had the same brain, the same potential, the same capacity for greatness, and he used it, he focused it, he directed it toward survival, toward mastery, toward building a life worth living. And that is what you have to do. That is what this moment is calling you to do. That is what your future self is begging you to do. Stop scrolling. Stop wasting. Stop pretending that this is harmless. Stop lying to yourself that you have it under control, because you do not. Nobody does. The system is designed to beat you. The algorithm is designed to win. The only way to win is to stop playing, to take back your attention, to reclaim your time, to rebuild your focus, to reconnect with reality, to remember what it feels like to be fully present, fully alive, fully yourself. And this is possible. This is achievable. This is within your reach right now. Today, this moment, you do not need permission. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need to wait for Monday or next month or next year. You just need to decide. You just need to commit. You just need to take the first step, and then the next step, and then the next step. And before you know it, you will look back and realize you are free. You will realize you broke the chains. You will realize you won the battle, and your life will be completely different, completely better, completely yours. And that is what Caveman knew 10,000 years ago. That is what he would tell you if he could, that attention is life, that focus is power, that presence is freedom, that you are stronger than you think, that you are capable of more than you know, that you do not need the digital world to feel alive. You just need to wake up, to show up, to step up, and to claim the life that is waiting for you, the life you were always meant to live, the life that social media tried to steal but could not take unless you let it. And you are not going to let it, not anymore. Not after this, not after you understand what is at stake, not after you see the truth, not after you remember who you really are and what you are really capable of when you stop giving your power away and start using it to build something real, something meaningful, something that matters, something that will still be here long after the apps are gone, long after the platforms have died, long after the algorithm has moved on to the next victim. You will still be here, stronger, wiser, freer, and you will know that you made the right choice, that you fought the right battle, that you won the war for your own attention, for your own life, for your own soul. And that victory, that freedom, that is worth everything. That is worth the discomfort. That is worth the sacrifice. That is worth walking away from the crowd and walking toward yourself. And when you do this, when you finally do this, you will understand what Caveman understood, that the real world is better than any digital world, that real connection is better than any virtual connection, that real achievement is better than any digital achievement, that real life, your actual life, the one you are living right now, this is the only life you get. This is the only chance you have, and it is too precious, too valuable, too important to waste on a screen. So put down the phone, close the app, step away from the algorithm, and step into your life, your real life, the one that is waiting for you, the one that needs you, the one that will reward you beyond anything social media ever could. Because that is where the magic is. That is where the meaning is. That is where you will find everything you have been searching for in all the wrong places. And it has been there all along, waiting for you to notice, waiting for you to choose it, waiting for you to finally come home to yourself and to the life you were always meant to live. And now you know, now you understand, now you have the wisdom, now you have the tools, now you have the path. And the only question left is this: will you take it? Will you walk it? Will you become the person who breaks free and builds something real? Or will you stay trapped? Will you keep scrolling? Will you keep wasting the one life you have? Because that choice, that is yours, that has always been yours. And whatever you choose it consciously, choose it intentionally, choose it knowing exactly what you are choosing and exactly what you are giving up. And if you choose freedom, if you choose focus, if you choose real life, then welcome. Welcome to the path. Welcome to the journey. Welcome to the battle that is worth fighting. And know that you are not alone. Know that Caveman is with you. Know that 10,000 years of human wisdom is with you. Know that everyone who ever broke free from distraction and built something meaningful is with you. And most importantly, know that you are strong enough. You are capable enough. You are worthy enough to do this, to win this, to become this, and your future self, the one who is free, the one who is focused, the one who is living fully. That version of you is already cheering for you, already believing in you, already grateful that you made the choice, that you took the step, that you started the journey. And now, all you have to do is keep going, one day at a time, one choice at a time, one moment at a time, until the person you are becoming is the person you always were meant to be. And that is the greatest victory of all. That is the ultimate freedom. That is what Caveman knew, and what you now know too. And nothing, not the algorithm, not the apps, not the addiction, nothing can take that away from you unless you let it. So do not let it, never let it. Protect your attention like your life depends on it, because it does, it always has, and it always will. And now you know, and knowing is the first step, and the next step is action, and the step after that is consistency, and the step after that is transformation. And before you know it, you will be free, you will be focused, you will be fully alive, and you will look back at this moment, this exact moment right now, and you will know that this was when everything changed. This was when you chose differently. This was when you took back your power. And that choice, that moment, that decision, that is what makes all the difference. That is what separates a life wasted from a life well lived. And you are choosing well lived. You are choosing freedom. You are choosing yourself. And that is the wisest choice you will ever make. The choice Caveman made 10,000 years ago. The choice that kept him alive. The choice that made him strong. The choice that brought you here today. And now it is your turn. Now it is your moment. Now it is your choice. So choose wisely. Choose courageously. Choose the hard path that leads to real life, and never look back. Because what is ahead is so much better than what you are leaving behind. And you are ready. You are capable. You are strong enough to do this, starting right now, starting today. Starting this very moment, and the rest of your life, the real life, the free life, the focused life. It begins now.